I got into music when I was a kid. I started listening to Eminem, which then inspired me to start writing my music. In 2000, my mom and dad separated. The separation really had affected me, like I wasn't used to it. So I was born initially with a heart murmur. I remember being at the airport on the day that I left. It really hit me, like I was scared because, you know, it was just me. My brother and my sister stayed here. It got to a point where I didn't want to come back.
If you had to give someone who you inspire, what advice would you give him?
I think
another episode of the Champions Connect podcast, and today we are here with Ben Miller. Thank you for coming on such short notice, Ben.
Thank you for having me.
So today is a bit different to me because Ben is my cousin and also a local rapper here in Malta. Today we'll be discussing his life in general and also in the music industry here in Malta and how much the capability is of making it also locally. What do you think?
First of all, I just want to say that I'm really happy to be here, and I say that because I'm so proud of like what you've created over the last year, being that obviously both of you and Beppe. Just over a year ago, I remember Beppe was building like a 6-story penthouse on Fortnite within 3 seconds, and you were pretty much into like you didn't really have anything going on for sense, like you didn't really have any form of goal in mind as other than football. So it's just great to see like what you're doing, and I'm glad to be part of it now. So yes, so basically I'm gonna give a bit of an explanation about like who I am, what I do, etc.
Go for it.
So long story short, I got into music back when I was really young. The first time I really felt some form of like excitement towards music was when I was a kid. So when my dad used to pick me up from school and he used to drive home and play music, and I used to feel this like rush in my stomach. Like I used to look forward to the drive back home, and I used to say like, okay, I really enjoy listening to these old songs. Then during the whole parents separating and whatever, I started listening to Eminem. It was during that era when I started listening to Eminem, and I had listened to one specific song called "Cleaning Out My Closet," which like I really resonated with.
Yeah.
And from then on, it was just like I just got hooked to Eminem, which then inspired me to start writing my music. Long story short, I had moved to the US when I was really young. I was 10. And
Why is that?
Why I moved to the US?
Yeah.
Basically, my mom and dad had separated just a bit before then. And
so I like to, before I cut you off, I like to keep the viewer in the timeline. Okay. So can you mention some days and dates?
Yes, absolutely. So look, basically, you know, my latest release, 99. In 2000, my mom and dad separated. So okay. I was 5 at that point. After then, I started getting, that's when I sort of like, in fact, in the song, you notice in verse 2, I'm saying that in school I became really sort of naughty. I was that like really naughty kid. Because the separation really had affected me. Like I wasn't used to it. Like my whole life up until 5 years old, I knew my parents together.
Yeah.
That's the only life I knew. So when that ended, it sort of disrupted my routine. So it was 2000. It was year 2000 when they separated. Then there was a lot of back and forth. Like my mom was coming and going from the US, and when I was 10, when I was like 9 or 10, I had moved to the US myself with my mom. So just myself. It wasn't my brother or sister. It was just me. And then, I started I was homeschooled. So for the first few months in the US. And being that I was listening to Eminem growing up, I had seen the movie 8 Mile, which was literally like the bug, man, that bit me, that I was like, look, now you need to start like making music. So I had seen the last 3 rap battles at the end of the movie. And it just blew my mind. Like I went to school the next day. I memorized the battles. I went to school and I was rapping them to all my friends, like the people that I made friends with. And then it was just history from there. Then I came back to Malta.
Well, let's go back to the US. And before that, we mentioned, obviously, we talk a lot off camera, and obviously, you know, just my cousin, you're a big friend of mine. Yeah. What happened before that? You were a bit sick when you were younger?
Yeah, so, okay. So I was born initially with a heart murmur,
Okay.
which is which is which they knew when I was born, basically instantly. But it was no big thing. It was no big issue or anything like that. It basically then developed into something really bad.
You
over the
mentioned this in
years.
your song, in your latest
Exactly.
song, right?
So when I was 4, okay. So when I was 4, my mom used to notice different behavior in me. Obviously, she knew me inside out, and I was this really happy kid. Like I wasn't shy. I'd make friends with everyone. We used to go down to the beach in Slema, and she told me, she said, like, you just make friends with a bunch of people that take you on the banana rides, that buy you ice cream. She said, like, you were not shy of making friends with anyone. And then she started to see the difference in my behavior. She was like, you then became really quiet, always tired. She said, and I knew that something was up. She said, so, like, we went to the hospital and checked, and everyone was saying I'm fine. And the reason they said I'm fine was because my body wasn't stressed enough. So, like, when I'd be at the beach and I'd be running around, swimming and everything, my body would be on the, like,
Yeah.
not stress. I'd just get tired from the movement, the exercise, and everything. But when she take me to hospital, it would literally be, I'd get in the car, drive to the hospital, and nothing else, no movement. So my body would be calm at that point. So once I get there,
You're fine.
they'd see nothing wrong with me. So then we started doing stress tests, which were like walking on a treadmill, running on a treadmill, running up and down the hallway of the hospital. And that's when they noticed, like, look, Ben needs to get operated on.
How old
ASAP.
were you here?
About 4. I was 4. Then we flew to Great Ormond in London, which is a children's hospital. And yeah, within a week, we literally got to the hospital, did the operation, and came back.
And how was it
So-
from there?
So from then on, so my parents were still together at that point. And then she left. But now I still do regular ECGs. Like every 2 years, I need to go and get checked
Okay.
and
Okay.
everything. Actually, rest his soul, Jose had the same thing.
Just as
Jose-
our uncle, so.
Jose had a murmur as well. In fact, when I had one of my appointments, I went and I saw him there in the hospital room. So yeah, now I'm fine. I mean I'm good. I'm healthy and everything, thank God. But I still go and do these ECGs and checkups and everything.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Okay, so let's go back to the US. You said you were homeschooled and you went to school. How was it from transitioning to? Why are you laughing?
I did not on one side. Real skit.
So where was I?
Yeah, you said.
So you went to the US, okay? You were young. You went into new school. You were homeschooled. I know you want to laugh. How was the feeling of that? Obviously, it's new people. You don't know anyone. So you went to
Exactly.
school.
So look, I had this separation anxiety as a kid. So like me leaving to the US was exciting because you know, when you're a kid and you talk about America, like being so far away, especially being from Malta, it's so exciting. But on the day, I remember being at the airport, on the day that I left, it really hit me. Like I was scared because, you know, it was just me. My brother and my sister stayed here.
So you went up alone. Your mom came down.
Yeah. So I was with my mom. It was just
Yeah.
me and my mom. And when I got there, it was really hard to sort of adapt for the first few months. Remember, everything was different. Like,
Yeah.
I was literally living in a house. Like as soon as you open the door, there's a lake with alligators, and so it was a completely different life, completely. But then I got there and I started making friends and I started adapting, and then it got to a point where I didn't want to come back. I got used to that lifestyle and it was just great. Like I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I made a bunch of friends, and all I wanted to do from that point on, once I watched 8 Mile, was rap, was make music, rap, always.
Do you regret coming back?
No, I don't. I didn't really have a choice back then.
Okay.
I was a kid, so I couldn't really make my own
Yeah, yeah.
decisions. So I came back. But as soon as I came back, at that point, I already knew what I wanted to do with my life, which was music. I was still too young to understand how to create music. Like I had no idea about any studio equipment, had no idea anything about that. But then, when I turned 15, which was around 4 or 5 years later, I got my first job, which was at a confectionery. And I got my first wage and bought my first microphone. And the mic came with like a demo version of Pro Tools, which is a
Yeah.
software, which was very limited. Like you can only create up to around 3 channels. You couldn't really do much. But that's how I learned. I was recording and figuring out how to mix. I was downloading YouTube beats back then.
So it's a good start. And when did you realize? Do you think that was the point where you realized that it's your future?
Yeah.
It's your life, not your future. It's
Exactly.
your life.
I mean, I just know the feeling I used to get from rapping.
Yeah.
And that's what always drove me. So every time I'd make a song, or every time I'd listen to a beat, or every time I'm writing, I just knew that this is all I want to do. There was nothing else that, you know me, I never was into football or anything
Yeah.
like that. There was nothing that drove me the way rap music drove me ever since I was a kid.
So you came back. Okay, you came back after how many years there?
So it was a back and forth thing, but the longest I stayed was about 6 months.
6 months. All right. And then you came back. You came back to school, I think, no?
Then I came back, yes, I went back to school. I finished primary, because it was the last year of primary.
Okay, you mentioned some type of trauma you had mentioned. You just mentioned it right now.
Separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it still affects you till this very day?
I mean, I think it's something that, yes, I think it still does affect me till today, because I saw that it played a part even in my relationships. With,
Okay.
like my
Love
earlier
relationships
Yeah,
or
exactly.
okay.
So I'll mention actually a relationship that I was in. In 2016, I got into my first proper relationship. So before then, I had no idea about relationships. Like, I just used to go out, have fun, whatever. Then I started meeting this girl in 2016. It was early 2016. And it started off as like meeting, whatever, going out and just enjoying meeting this person. And
Yeah.
then it got to a point where I was like, look, I really like this girl, and I don't want to sort of like see her with anyone else.
Yeah.
So then it got serious. Like we stayed together. Remember, I had no relationship experience. I had no idea. I used to just go out, whatever, have fun, and go home.
How old were you? Again, you
I
mentioned.
was about 20. We started dating, I think, in about around February time it was. And in around August, I was like, I didn't really think I wanted to be in a relationship at that point. I was still very confused. I didn't know what I wanted. So I was like, look, I don't think I want to continue meeting. And I was really honest about it. Like, that's something about me. I'm not going to just play with anyone's feelings. I went straight. I was like, look, I'm not feeling it. I think I'm not ready for this. And it destroyed her and everything, obviously. Like, she was really upset and everything. And then after like a month of not being together, not seeing each other at all, I started to miss her. And I was like, so I texted her. I was like, look, I'm in Portugal. I was like, do you want to meet? Anyways, she gave me a really hard time to sort of meet, and it wasn't easy. So that's what I understood from that. I was like, look, you can't just leave and go back whenever you want. That's something I took from that relationship. Long story short, we ended up separating in 2018. And going back to your question about separation anxiety, I think I still deal with it because that specific relationship, like that breakup, really affected me. In fact, I wrote Till It's Gone after that.
Exactly.
So Till It's Gone is based off that relationship.
And your songs are basically all
Life experiences.
Yeah, you mentioned it in one of your reels you put up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
In fact, I wrote 2 songs for that girl. And I say that because I felt like the emotion changed. First, it was like I was really upset. I couldn't believe that, especially being your first proper relationship, you don't want to see the girl with someone else. I'm telling you. This is something that people don't talk about. It's not commonly spoken about, but I'm telling you myself that when you're with your first girlfriend that you really love, it doesn't make sense to your head that you see her with someone else. It just doesn't. Like, in your mind, you're so used to seeing her every day and waking up every day and like speaking and planning that when you actually see that person with someone else, you're like, can I swear?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is going on? Literally, that is the most accurate thing the best way I can describe it. So, but again, like nowadays, we're really good friends. Like I hold no grudges. She's a really nice person. We met last year, and we had, like, after all those years, we spoke. So we're cool. But I'm just saying that I still dealt with separation anxiety after so many years.
I think every guest I had on this podcast, which is around 8, they all, including myself and including the people who are watching, all have some type of anxiety or trauma that they passed on. They don't like to share it sometimes, but it's so important to go back, sit down with yourself, and try recover from it. Everyone recovers from these traumas.
Yeah.
So obviously it maybe not you can help yourself. You have to get some help maybe. Like
I
everyone,
mean-
it's everyone. You know, everyone has
Uh-huh.
these. Go for it.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, the way I look at it is like possibly yes, it could be an option of like maybe seeking help or whatever. But for me, it's always been music. Like I've always channeled my whatever I'm feeling towards a song. Always, even, and that's why I feel like my best songs, because there are songs that I have which are released which I'm like, not my best work. But I feel like every time I went through something really emotionally, sort of, like so emotional,
Yeah.
that's when my best work happened. And every song I put out is a true story. Every song, be it Till It's Gone, Stranger, End of Story, One Last Time, like number one. All my songs are true stories.
What-
99, of course.
Yeah. Which was your first ever song released?
I think it was. So I had a bunch. I still have songs, in fact, from on my hard drive from like 2010, which
Yeah.
are horrible, like horrible. But I think the first song I put out publicly, which did actually really well, was Till It's Gone with Marta.
That was your first one.
I had put out like snippets though on Instagram before
You want to mention the feature?
with Marta.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That was actually initially Till It's Gone was I had released it in 2018.
That was for your girlfriend.
That was for my girlfriend. Yeah. For this one I was telling
Yeah,
you
yeah.
about. I had put that out in 2018, but I had sung the chorus, and I didn't like it. But I had still put it out. Plus, back then I didn't really know much artists, or I wasn't really well connected. I didn't know people, and in that industry. So I put the song out myself, and then I took it down because I knew how much potential the song had. I reproduced the whole beat when I had the studio in Mostar, and I was looking, and Martha was on X Factor back then. She was on the first X Factor like that they had aired, and I had reached out to her because we knew mutual people.
Yeah.
And I had texted her. I said, "Look, I have a song which I want to reproduce and I want to sort of recreate." I said, "Are you down to come and sing the chorus that I wrote?" And she said yes, and she blew my mind. And we became really good friends, man. Like, she's really much my energy. Martha's really my energy.
Shout out.
Shout out to Martha. I was with her like 2 hours ago. We filmed the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, and then she introduced me to harmonies.
Okay.
She's the first person that, because remember, I used to just rap.
Yeah.
That's all I used to do. In fact, I used to feel my songs were boring at a point because they never had melodies, they never had choruses. It was just a rap, and people don't want to listen to a whole 3-minute song just rapping. You know what I mean? So when she created the chorus, she introduced me to harmonies. She started like doing high vocals, an octave higher, and all this technical shit. And I was like, fuck, man. I was like, she's like much doper than I thought, because obviously I just know she had a nice voice, but she had more than the voice. She had like the harmonies and stuff.
Yeah.
And she took the song to the next level, man. And then I feel like, look, during Till It's Gone, I feel like I was really blessed, man, because during that time I had also bumped into Drew, my videographer back then, who was one of my best friends, who was also going through a breakup. So, and I feel like him going through a breakup also helped.
Both of you.
Apart from it helped both of us, I feel like it helped bring the song honestly to life, because I feel like he even put his passion into, like, his pain that he was dealing with. I feel like he even put that into videography, into the song. So yeah, man, like, it's still one of my favorite songs.
Which one?
Till It's Gone.
Ah, okay.
But when I listen back, I just, obviously that have grown so much, like the vocal delivery bugs me, the mix bugs me, but I feel like it's a good song for its time.
So let's take a small break to introduce our sponsor, G's Biltong. It's probably one of the
This is the beef jerky thing you told me about.
one of the best probably on the island so far. They're brand new. It's a homemade product, Argentinian beef. Okay, to be honest, it's insane. It has 40 grams of protein, so it's you can purchase online on their website. Taste it.
Yep.
I love these at home.
Dude,
Listen, post gym, it's insane, huh?
honestly, really, really good.
So whoever wants to purchase online,
Big time.
yeah,
I'm not a beef jerky guy, so like it's
No?
not something I look for, but that's really good, honestly. Really
whoever wants to purchase these online, you have your own code, which is CC5. Go check that code out. You have 5% off. You just released 99, which has made a hit again. Has made a hit.
And the reason I clapped, sorry to stop you, the reason I clapped was because that song is 5 years overdue.
5 years.
So the fact that it's out is just like
5 years.
I don't even want to look at it anymore, man.
Why 5 years?
So
Can I mention something before you go into it? You mentioned like around a year ago, and I noticed this in you when I told you to create content. When I was coming into the content world, I had mentioned it to you, and when I tried the video, obviously it came shit. But
which one?
no, what I'm coming to is I'll try find it. I forgot. I think it was in the studio, in your old studio. You were very. If I don't look good, I won't post.
Exactly, 100%.
Do you think you came out of that bracket?
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
So obviously, whoever is watching, probably 90% of who's watching hates himself because he's scared to post himself on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you go over that?
Shall I start with the 99 release first and then...
I think you should go with this one, then go to 99 because it makes...
Exactly. So basically, I used to have this like fear of posting, and I think it comes from... I think it stems from... I already know that it stems from like, I'm a type of person that wants everything to be perfect. So I needed to stray away from that because it was really holding me back. Like, I know that nowadays everything is social media, everything is posting. Everything is not just about making the song and releasing the song, and you don't need to show your face. Everything is posting. So other than that, I feel like now I need to catch up on everything I missed out on over the years. So the reason I used to really like not post was because I'd feel like, okay, if I'm not looking good today, I'm not gonna post, and that comes from a fear of rejection, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think everyone feels it, but people just don't talk about it. Also, it comes from, I think, comparing on social media. So social media was a big part of why I used to be like afraid of posting and everything. Now I just feel like I'm at a point, even with this whole slim mom thing I'm doing, I got to a point where I was like, I genuinely got to a point where I don't give a fuck. Like I became numb to it. I was like, look, this is who I am. I know that I have a certain sense of humor and I want to show it, and I just want to be myself. I don't want to keep on like, okay, if that angle wasn't good, if the lighting wasn't good, or if someone took a story of me and I wouldn't repost it, like, fuck that, man. That was crippling the fuck out of me. Like,
how did you get over it though? Because there's so many viewers that are going through it right now.
I think it was just the fear of like getting older and not posting, not showing the people who I am. And when I say not showing the people who I am, mainly I'm referring to music. So I didn't want to be someone that is creating great music, and I can humbly say that, like, I'm at a point now where I'm creating really good music.
Yeah.
Only because it's inevitable, dude. If you do something every day and every single day, you're just gonna get better at it. It's inevitable. It could be fucking billiards, man. It could be anything, playing Monopoly, whatever the fuck it is. Like, if you do it every day, you're gonna get good. So now I'm at a point where I know I'm good. I know that as an artist, I'm more of a storyteller than just like making whatever just to make it.
Than just a viral beat.
Exactly. So I also wanted my audience to relate to me, like, selfishly speaking, because I don't want someone to, like, it doesn't make me happy knowing someone's going through a breakup, but it makes me happy knowing that I put out a song someone related to. So I don't know if that's selfish or not.
No, it makes sense, and that's what artists are running after.
Yeah.
Like, if you go through the TikTok algorithm, yes, and all these hits, you know, all the biggest stars like James Arthur, all these people go after the real life stories.
For sure. And again, that's the artist I am, because that's what I grew up on. I grew up on storytelling, relating to this artist and that artist.
Also, if you notice, like, the highest hits of like life are Bruno Mars.
Exactly.
All these people who create a story after their
sure.
their breakups, and that's why I like the way you're going.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, part of that fear was like, you know, if you, I don't know, say you like someone, right? And you really like this someone, and you're like, fuck, man, I'm not gonna post it because I might look bad in front of this person, or she might see me in a certain way. Like, it also came from that sort of thing. So I just had to let it go, man. It was honestly crippling the fuck out of me. So
and how long ago was it till you let it go?
As in, it was step by step.
It wasn't too long ago, though.
Not so long ago, but it was, even like being on here and speaking is not something that I would do. like I'd always either post like a story and write a caption on it instead of actually say things. One sec. So, and again, I think it comes from the whole separation anxiety. I don't know, but all I know is that whatever I feel, I channel to my music. So,
Can I ask you something that maybe because I have so many questions I would never stop, but I think we're talking about relevancy, and this podcast obviously is about life lessons.
Yeah.
What do you suggest to parents who are watching this if they're coming to separation?
Okay, so this is in fact I have another song called "Let It Go," which is the perfect opportunity to speak about right now. So I'm not a parent myself, so I cannot really give a parent advice. I can only give people advice
As a kid.
As a kid, okay, as a kid.
As a kid of a parent, okay.
Look, my mom, I love my mom and dad to death, like you know.
Yeah.
And I know that being a parent, and this is something that I tell my parents, being a parent is new. It's like when you start driving a car, man. You don't know how to fucking press the clutch. You don't know how to park. You know, you stole the car 1,000 times. It's the same thing. Like when you become a parent, it's new to you. It's not like you were a parent for 10 years before that. So you have a kid and you just, there's no like how to be a parent book. You need to go through the being a parent and then learn from that. So I don't blame my mom and dad for whatever happened or you know what I mean. Yes, there were things that obviously affected me and as a kid, obviously.
You're younger,
But
the youngest.
yeah, from
Exactly.
from me, Matt and Van, yeah. But as I think advice, that's a crazy question, man. Advice I could give to parents.
In general, because there are so many households that the kid is scared to talk to the parent because they're either fighting,
Mm-hmm.
they're either not present, they're either not gonna listen to the kid.
Yeah.
What, as a kid to kid,
Mm-hmm.
what do you encourage them to do? Speak up, maybe.
As a kid, it's I don't know.
Let me word it differently. If you have to go back to young Ben
Uh huh.
and you're seeing your parents fighting, separated,
Yeah.
different countries,
Uh-huh.
what if you had to call your mother and tell her something to fix? What would it be?
To fix.
Maybe, okay, they separate, but a better relationship.
I don't know because I think that for a parent it's also hard to because if something were to come to mind now it would be like like for the parent to sort of explain what's going on, but it's also difficult for the parent at the time. Like if you have a 5-year-old, you're not going to be explaining what's going on to a 5-year-old kid. But honestly, man, you got me so with this question, man, because I'm not sure.
I don't think it's easy for the parents either. Imagine living with someone who you're constantly fighting with. You know, you have responsibilities.
Yeah.
So we have to understand them as well.
Yes,
Sometimes,
no,
you know.
for sure.
And you know how
100%.
my parents, I'm going to talk personally now. They're very, very close.
Yes.
So that helped us a lot.
Of
You know,
course.
there was no separation.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are short traumas that I didn't discover yet,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But I think, thank God, it's a good relationship.
Yes,
Although they, but
Yeah.
I think in today's world it's quite normal.
for sure. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, because I don't think it's nice at always. You know, when you look at your grandparents and you see them together for all
For
those
sure.
years, and the family tree keeps
Of
growing.
course.
You know,
I mean, now I'm used to it, so I'm not at a point where I'm like, oh, my parents aren't together. No, I'm fine with it. It's
Of course.
absolutely fine. Like I've grown out of that, and I channel everything to my music. So, and I'm always true to myself. I'm always honest with myself. So, I'm fine. But yeah.
long way, huh?
I'm good.
Go on to 99 because we skipped it.
So 99. So yeah. So 99 is, I think, my favorite song right now. And I always say that with every song I release. But I think that this is my favorite song for a long time, because one, it's a story I've been trying to tell ever since I was a kid. I remember I used to finish school and go home, and I used to play the Shook Ones beat of Mobb Deep. I don't know if you know which one it
No.
is. And I used to write to that beat all the time. It used to just inspire me. And I used to always try and write the story. I used to try write 99. Obviously, I didn't know it was called 99 back then. I just used to try and write the story the way I thought about it back then. And I never got down to it because I had less writing experience. I had less storytelling experience. And the first line I wrote was on a plane in 2018. I was going to Sicily with the girl I spoke about earlier. And I wrote the first line, and I knew it wasn't like, it wasn't
Wasn't the hook?
it wasn't it. I was like, okay, it's not coming together. And sometimes you know when you're writing, like, you know, okay, it's gonna be good. Like, you
This is
know,
another part we have to mention. You do everything.
I do everything. I do the beat. I do the mixing. I do the recording.
Mixing is like editing the beat.
Yeah. So it's like you have video, and then you edit the video, and mixing is you make music, and then you edit the music. So mixing is like adding delay to the vocals, leveling the whole beat, and it's a whole other language, man.
Yeah.
So I do the whole thing. Anyways, and yeah, then I came back, and then in 2020, I was like, look, like sometimes I ask myself in the studio, I'm like, what do I want to talk about today? And I was like, okay, let me just create a beat. And in fact, I have archived stories from 2020, which we can add to the screen if you want, when I was making the beat back then. And then I started making the beat. And I love very cinematic sounds, like violin, piano, very reverbed sounds, like emotional sounds, especially on a storytelling song. In fact, Till It's Gone has the same vibe.
Mhm.
And then I finished the beat, and I was like, okay, now it's time to tell the story. And at that point, I had gotten better at writing. I had gotten better at telling a story. I knew what hits and what doesn't. So at that point, I was like, look, based on my skill right now, I'm ready to write the song. And I wrote it, and I wrote verse 1, and I was honestly shocked, man. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, finally, I said what I wanted to say. And I was really excited to drop it back then. I was like, Bomba, I can't wait to release it and get it out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, with that specific song, I said, look, I said, all my other songs always just went out. I made a song and put it out, and that's it. I was like, with this song, in fact, I have a tattoo here, Patience. This is literally...
Show to the camera.
I have a tattoo called Patient. That says Patience. This was $4.99. Because literally, I'm telling you, I did this $4.99 because, and this is why I'm telling you the song is so special to me, because, again, going back to my other songs, I'd just make a song, put it out, make a song, put it out, create a video, put it out. No hype, no nothing. So with this song, I was like, look, I need to get to a point where I can film a full-on music video, like the way I picture it in my mind. I didn't just want one location, one shot, or talking to the mic, that's it. I wanted to tell a story. And I wanted to tell the story that 5-year-old me wanted to tell, like what he saw. So yeah, I was blessed enough to come across Sammy along the years, one of my best friends, my current videographer.
Shout out as well.
Shout out to Sammy. I can get into how we made friends and everything, but it will just...
Yeah.
Yeah? Should I?
No, because I have another question for
Okay.
you. You're very good. But what do you think keeps you back
Thank you. What do you mean?
from fame? And not fame. Let's change the word. What keeps you back from getting recognized from record labels? You know.
It's a crazy question, man, because I had this question. I asked this question to myself. So, you know, I'm independent, you know that. Like, I do everything. I have no team behind me. I have no management. I have no label, nothing pushing me. So I do everything myself. Like, I need to come up with my own marketing plans. Like, so it's not like I have thousands behind me pushing my, you know, getting features here and getting influencers to post it. Like, I do everything by myself. There's no TV behind me, nothing. So I'm still a work in progress, and I'm still learning. So I'm still catching on. And this is why I'm grateful for you and Beppe, man, because, like, over the years of once you grew up and we got close, I started to study you as well. Like, even though there's quite some years between us. Like, even though there's quite some years between... even though there's quite... even though there's quite some years between us, like, I've seen what you guys do, and I've taken your advice. Like, even up until yesterday, man, I posted the story, and you told me, like, I'm already going to apply what you told me to my next video.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, but
no, I know, but I know that I see what you do, and what you do is working, right? And like I said before, I can only give advice from a place of experience. So you're more experienced than me in this area, and that's why I'm still learning and catching on. So at this point, I think the recognition isn't around because I strictly stuck to making music, audio, like putting out audio versions only.
So where are you lacking?
Right now, the areas I'm lacking are the areas I'm working on, which are this, or all
Yeah.
this being on camera, talking, getting people to know who I am, on a visual scale now, not on an audible audio scale. So I think that now, like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the time now.
Who's Ben Miller without a mic?
Ben Miller without a mic.
Yeah.
Say more convenience.
No,
Ben Miller
honest.
without a mic, man. Someone very fucking empty.
Empty.
Literally, bro. Because
It's quite a harsh word, in my empty.
the reason I say empty is because that's how I feel, man. When I have no studio, I genuinely feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Like, I'm not one to go to, and again, disclaimer, I have no problem with anyone who does have like a normal 9 to 5, goes to work. Like, no, I have no problem with anyone doing that. It's just not for me to live that life on repeat till the end of my life.
You're going through it
So-
at the moment.
Yeah.
And as we actually had a conversation yesterday, that in our life we have rubber bands.
Yeah.
And one of the red rubber band that is keeping you back from your success is this.
Yeah,
think?
exactly. Wait, because I was gonna say something else before this.
So you hit me hard when you said empty, Ostra. It's quite hard. Like, it's a quite harsh word.
Again, because honestly, that's how I feel. Again, not like as a person, I don't feel empty. Like I said, like I'm great. I
I
love
understand.
life.
I understood.
I'm happy at this point in my life. But I genuinely, like, I've been without studios. Like
You stopped for 2 years?
you're talking about.
You quit for 2 years music, no?
So I'll get into that. So in 2022, I feel like I hated everything I was doing. So it's crazy. It was a real emotional wave. So in 2019, I was on this high of like, man, I'm creating the best shit ever. It's fucking insane. 2020 the same, when I put out No Excuses. That was my favorite song. I couldn't believe I made the melody, and I was getting good, and then I just kept getting better and better and better. And then in like 2022, it's like you're always, as an artist, trying to make the next best song. You're always trying to get, a better melody, a fucking doper beat, a better mix. And in 2022, I feel like I was stuck. I said, like, why is my music not hitting? Like, the vocal delivery sounded off in my head, which it wasn't, because now I listen back to them and I'm like, I knew what the fuck I was doing. But I was so obsessed with this whole idea of perfection that it crippled me, man. So I was like, okay, and I remember I was recording one song in the studio and I cried, man. I swear, like, a few people know this story. I was like, what if I'm actually not good? I'm like, what if I'm actually not meant to do this shit and I just think I'm dope and I'm not? And it got to that point. I was like, fuck this shit. I said, I'm done. And I spent a whole year out. So from 2020, actually more than a year, just like a year and maybe like 3 months. And then I moved to my other house, built a studio there, because over that year I was feeling like, man, I need to make music. Like, that feeling came back. And that feeling will never go. When you love something, it will never
Exactly.
go. So even if I stop again, which I won't, that feeling will never let me quit. And I built the studio again, and the first song I made was with our cousin, Chris Bird, was called Reminder, which is a reminder of who the fuck I am. And when I came back with that beat and that verse, I was like, man, fuck quitting. And then after that, it was just insane songs from there.
So what's one advice you give to young, if not musicians, young artists, young people who want to make it? What's one advice you give them?
I think there's a lot more advice. Like, there's way more advice I can give than one specific thing. But one thing I'd say is, if you're an artist, right? I'm gonna speak for like musicians,
Okay.
and it could apply to anyone else. If you're a musician creating music, and you keep trying to perfect that song and trying to make it the best it's ever going to be, you're never gonna get there, man. There's always going to be a better mix, a better hook, always. Like, you just need to be happy with what you created internally and really feel like you fucking... I'm not telling you, like, go record it quickly, the vocal tone is a bit, and put it out. No, I'm just saying, like, still do your best, but at a point you need to make a decision and say, okay, I'm putting out the song. Because I've been a victim to that, man. Like, I'd make a song, it would be amazing, and I'd be like, Now I'll go back to it and I'll fix it, and it would take me like 6 months to put out, when it could have gone out and I could have worked on something else in the meantime. So my advice to anyone is stop looking for perfection, man, because perfection and seeking that going back to my social media posting and whatever, really fucked me, man.
Like, never wait for the right time.
Never, bro. Like, literally. And this is the approach I'm taking with these videos I'm doing on TikTok. Now, before I used to be like, but what if I post and I look stupid? Fuck it, man. Like, I'm posting videos at 1 a.m. now. You know, I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I'm just posting and going to sleep. And just making sure that, apart from doing it because it's fun and it's funny and everything, I'm doing it for my self-growth and just to
Obviously,
become better as a
yourself,
person. And one thing I think if you go straight in, like go head to head with fear, on the other side of that there's growth, literally. So if you like, it was uncomfortable for me to get the phone and like,
of course, yeah.
Right, that's the fear. But once you get over that, on the other side there's growth, and you can only just keep growing. And now I'm here, man. Like, something I probably wouldn't have spoken about, or probably would have only spoken about to my close friends.
Ben, I got a challenge for you today. I've never done this on the podcast, and I'm so excited for this, because usually I have to put on a spotlight, I have to put on rapid fire questions, but now today's a freestyle. We've never done it. I hope you're ready for this.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've never done this on the podcast. We've never had a musician.
Wait, this is gonna be a cappella or with a beat?
Beat.
Beat?
Yeah.
Where you have the beat?
I wrote one down here.
Okay.
I think it's a perfect fit for you.
Alright.
I hope it is, because to be honest, I studied you for a week.
Okay.
When I came to the studio, I was listening.
Oh shit, man, you're putting me on the spot.
I hope it's good. It's called ISIS.
Oh shit, shout out Joiner.
Instrumental,
Joiner.
okay?
Yeah.
We go for it?
I know.
You ready? Yeah. Wait. Get the popcorn ready, oh! Get the popcorn ready!
Get the, what's it called this?
The cheese bouton! Champions Connect special. I think
feel
has
like I'm
come
in the studio right now.
closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Lower. Because of your face. Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
Look. Hey. Look. Hey. Pipe down in this boat in the goat, you don't flow at all. Man, I got you pinned down like a bowling ball. Hopping up and coming, you motherfuckers. I'll murder anybody that I wanna pick or choose like a Pokemon. Somebody said I'm not diverse. I've been working overtime on my high bright verse. You claim to be a rapper, but you know you never happen. Everybody know I put you in a rock white hearse, bitch. I would not interfere. You better lay low, cause I rock your career. I'm on top of your careers, I'ma shock you with fear. I pull up on the spot and you lot disappear. Whoa, game to the over. You couldn't bring pain with a chain and a motor. You couldn't bring flames if your brains in a toaster. Couldn't be in my range if you came with a rover. Boom, don't sleep on me. Everybody about to know that I'm the G.O.D. Now I'm back to munch, I'm like Captain Crunch. My rhymes packed a punch like it was C.O.D. That's Black Ops, like Shag and Scoob. I got a bag of clues on my laptop. Not acting rude, but you fools are whack and you're accent too. Plus your rap sucks, man. You better go and tell them ain't nobody gon' get it the way I get it. I'm legitimate, a lyrical legend. Give me a minute on the beat and you illegally finish. You wanna beef and now you got it. We can meet in the kitchen.
Oh shit! Shit!
Oh shit.
Jesus!
Alright.
No way! No fucking way! No way!
Oh, man.
Oh! No way!
I needed to include the beef in that.
No way, man!
Oh man.
No way! Oh, round of applause, huh?
Thank you.
Fucking hell, man! Fucking hell!
It's over 10 years in the making. Cause I've been releasing more of like my melodic shit recently. So.
I think we have the last question.
Mhm.
Wow. Fucking stuck. We have a question from your friend Fabio Moreno,
Oh shit.
who was the guest before you. We have a question that every guest leaves us on the Champions Connect journal. Okay, he left you a question.
So he left. Did he know I was gonna
No,
be
he
next?
didn't know. He didn't know.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I read it out loud?
go for it.
What advice do you think you in 5 years would give your current self? What a Fabio question, man. First of all, bro, before I answer that question, I just want to give a shout out to Fabio, man, because I met Fabio about 3 years ago,
Okay.
and all he's done is just give me such fucking positive energy, man.
All
That
right.
guy is like a fucking. You ever saw like those snowballs going down like really fast and then they grow and grow and grow? That's like that's Fabio, man. Fabio's a snowball, man. So like shout out to Fabio, man. He's always been like so like I'm gonna answer the question, but he's always been so supportive towards me.
What an episode, huh?
And yeah, I
What
saw
an
it, man. Insane. Plus, you know what, man? His like the video he posted, the one we seen together, actually, that gave me so much fucking drive, man. I don't know about, and some I know about you as well, but shout out to Fabio.
Fabio
What-
Morena.
Fabio Moreno. What advice would I give current me? Let me reread it.
What advice would you give your
Myself in 5 years.
yeah.
What advice do you think you in 5 years would give your current self? Do you think your current self would give you in 5 years?
Probably. I think mine would be, if I would have to ask this question to myself, is that all the late nights that we've worked, all the sacrifice, all the pain we've passed through, it's all gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
That's what mine would be.
yeah,
know.
that's actually valid. For me, I think my answer to that is it's a bit more complex than yours, but sometimes in life we go through experiences that are very uncomfortable, right? So like I'll use the breakup case in point. The breakup was really uncomfortable. In the moment, I'm not sitting there like, let's fucking go. I'm going through a breakup, I'm gonna make the best song ever. No, at that point you just want to get rid of the pain, you don't want to deal with it, right? So my advice is like whatever pain you go through from now to the next 5 years, know that great ass content can come out of that. And I'm saying that based on previous experiences. Because again, in the moment we're blind, right? We're blind with like I don't look at it as like a great opportunity for good content or a good song. I look at it as like, fuck, I need to get out of this situation and I need to feel better. I don't want to feel anxiety. So my advice to myself is that.
It's been an incredible episode. I think you briefed out your life in just an hour 15. I don't know how long we've been.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, first of all, I really enjoyed it. Secondly, I feel like even, how long has it been? An hour and 15 minutes? How much? An hour. You know, I feel like we said nothing, man. Like, we said so much, but there's so much more to say.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, there's time. Like, I could be here all night.
I think the best part of this, I'm not gonna mention it again, but it was that. Ben, what's future Ben? In a way of music, in a way of career-wise, what's future Ben?
So, future Ben is, again, stepping away from perfection. Definitely, that's something that like I've started now, and it's gonna stay because this is the better side, man. This is like now I know both sides of the fence. Like this is the better side, like seeing the, my work getting recognized and everything. So that's definitely gonna stay with me. And future Ben is like, who fucks with me, and respects me, stays. Who doesn't, chow. Literally, because I've spent so many years.
But didn't you mention
Mhm.
that you have a trauma of people leaving you?
Yes, but depends who, of course. Depends who. Like, if I know that the person is valuable, and if I know, look, like when I mentioned the breakup and the separation anxiety coming from that breakup, it also came from a place of guilt because I know that like I fucked up. I've never in my life, and I swear on music, I've never cheated on anyone in my life. But obviously, I did my fuck ups like throughout the relationship of like, I had this tendency of being really what's the word, man, when you do things on impulse. So I was impulsive. Like if we'd be in an argument, I'd be like, you know what, that's it, I'm done. Which wouldn't be the case. Like in my mind, I'd know I'm not done, but just for the sake of it and for the sake of the argument, I'll just be like, I'm done. So doing that so many times and then getting to a point where that broke the relationship because on the third time she left, that's where the separation anxiety comes in. But if I know that someone is bad for me, or if someone is toxic for my life, I have no problem with that person being out of my life, of course.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's me in future. Like that's future Ben, like moving
And
forward.
if you had to give someone who you inspire or
Mhm.
someone who's looking up to you, what advice would you give him? One advice, one short advice.
One piece of advice
Can be
is
even one sentence.
one piece of advice. Okay, I think just being honest, man. I think be yourself, be honest, and if you're doing something, like go all in with it. Like no 50%, no shortcuts, no bullshit. Like go all in, without the element of perfection again. Obviously, like that's my advice.
And is there one quote you're stuck by?
Follow your dreams or work for someone who did.
Okay. And who mentioned that to you?
That's something that actually I had. I had actually
Re-say it.
follow your dreams or work for someone who did.
Okay.
This is actually in a song that I have from like 2015. It was before the melodies, it was just like rap, and I had posted it. I had written it and recorded it, and then it's like, I swear to you, I had never heard that quote anywhere. Then I had seen it about like 3 years ago on IG. I'm like, this is something that probably fucking everyone thinks, or like people on the same mindset think.
Yeah.
Because I came across it and I'm like, did younger me like see it and write it? But I know for a fact that back then I wrote it because it was my mindset back then.
Mine. To be honest, is quite similar to yours, and this is my mother. Shout out, mom.
Shout out, mom, the goat,
and dad,
of course,
because they cry. You know how they are. Mine is simple, but it hits me hard every time I remind myself. Work so hard to no longer introduce yourself.
Wow.
So I love
really
that.
Dope. Really
I love
sick.
that. And my mom used to mention it to me when I was passing through a tough time at school. I used to always try in many things. So whatever I'm doing, I try. But unfortunately, school is not for everyone.
To continue like from that, I wasn't really good in school either, man. Like not because I was stupid or anything. It was just something that really didn't interest me, man. Like overall, what's up? Overall, like young me used to do really well. This is why I'm telling you that from 9 to 9, then I sort of like became really naughty and I just lost all interest and just went all in with music.
Yeah.
Like I was really towards the end of school. I really didn't.
But you tried.
I tried, but I always knew what I wanted, man. Always, ever since I was a kid. Always, fucking always, man. And that's why, like, I was so rebellious when people used to tell me, try this, do that, do this. Like, I knew what I wanted, honestly. And then I have a song called Turned Up, which says, my parents want what's best for me, but I know what's best for me. Because, man, like, I could listen to, like, and I have nothing against my parents or anything. I know they want what's best for me and I love them to death, but if I were to follow what anyone says, I'll never be happy, man. Imagine I got like like I don't know, someone told me to get that job and I got that job just to satisfy them.
It happens it happens to so many kids. And even Fabio, he mentioned that he was forced to go to study in England till he proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Ben, I think it's been an amazing episode. You truly shook me, and I think the audience is gonna get some, like, this is Ben Miller type of vibes. I hope and I wish and you will succeed because you truly deserve it. How old are you?
29.
29.
No, success is inevitable, bro.
29.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it, you know, and you're gonna look back at this podcast and you say, listen, we're so young.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit back together in 5 years and say, listen, we're so young and we're trying our best to succeed in anything we're doing. And as you said before, trying and failing every day, it's never a loss, it's a learning curve.
Absolutely.
You know, so Ben, I'll shake your hand one last time. Thank you so much for everything, your guidance, for everything. To everyone who's watching, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to maybe see and give us an opinion on who you want to see next. And also, I want to push this awareness out. We know some people, and if it's friends, if it's anyone, that if you need help, anything, if it's mental help, if it's any help, you know, academic, always find someone, because you can't save yourself sometimes. You know, open up to your close ones and just go with it, just open up. That's how I love to, you know, end it sometimes. And I like to end this after the podcast of Miguel Mifsud. It was an insane and heartfelt
episode.
Yeah, it was crazy. So shout out Miguel Mifsud, you're an insane guy. As I said, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Champions Connect out. Thank you very much.